Hi viewers, my dear students, we have completed 2 sessions successfully and we are going to learn another new lesson in this session. I hope you enjoyed very much, and this is also a curiosity. It creates a curiosity and some interest in your minds. The name of this lesson is The Magic of Silk. See here, what the children like most. It's quite natural. All of you like magic, right? Yes, I know it. So, magic. So, what is magic? Magic means that can't be defined, that should be secret, not known. How something happens, some secrecy is maintained. That is called magic. Have you attended any magic shows? Yes, I think you enjoyed a lot on watching those magic shows. Generally, what do you watch in magic shows? This is an assignment I am giving to you. You have to write, giving your description, any magic show that you have visited. Take this assignment and try to practice at home. Right, coming to the point, magic, something strange that is not easily defined. Magic of silk, magic of silk. You know, silk. We wear cotton shirts, we wear nylon dress material, we wear polyester, we wear silk saris. In those days, ancient times, wearing silk dress is very passionate. And people treated to be rich if they wear silk dresses. So here we are talking about silk. How does we get this silk? You know? Right? Yes. Silk can be drawn from silkworms. It is nowadays has become an industry. Silkworms can be grown and some thread has been drawn from the silkworms. By drawing some thread of silk from silkworms, they make business. Some people make it their living also. That means they used to sell that silk and get some money and they lead their life. That is their way of living. So, in our lesson, a family is there. In our lesson, a family is there. This family also lives on selling silk. What is this family? How many members are there in this family? An old woman and her daughter. They used to live by woods, near woods. Husband was killed by a tiger. When the family loses the breadwinner, I am using a word here, breadwinner. Breadwinner. What is meant by breadwinner? Breadwinner means the one who supports one's family. For example, in most of our families, our father is the breadwinner. In some families, mother is the breadwinner. Nowadays, both father and mother are breadwinners. So, in our lesson, in our family, the husband of the woman is the breadwinner. When he was killed by a tiger, the family loses its breadwinner. Then what happens automatically? Most of you know very well. For example, life leads smoothly for all of you. Why? Because all of you have father. He owns something and he fulfills your desires. He provides everything whatever you have. Simply you say, Daddy, I want this book. I want geometry box. Dad, I want these. At the time of coming home, you bring that particular thing, this particular thing. Immediately you get. It is possible because of having father. That means breadwinner. But in some of the students or some of them may not have father. When compared to the families of having fathers, they are struggling to lead their life. They have to restrict their needs, limited resources. Of course, this may not be applicable to all families, but most of the families, when father is not alive, father passes away, mother struggles a lot to lead the family, to take care of children, to provide all the facilities to the children and family. It becomes difficult. It's a general thing. There may be exemption for some of the families. So, in our family also, when the husband dies, that means he was killed by a tiger, they lost the breadwinner of the family. So, the woman feels difficulty to feed her daughter, to bring up her daughter, because of having no income. So, she passed some time with a great difficulty. When the girl grows somewhat older, this girl started growing silkworms in her garden. After growing these silkworms, they take the thread of silk from the silkworms and they use it to sell it in a village market, which is very nearer to their wood. That means it is very nearer to the place where they reside. They use it to sell the silk thread in the village market and they earn something. They make their living by selling the thread. Life was going on. Life was going on in that way, up and downs. As usually, one day, this girl, I already told, daughter is there. The name of the daughter is Seemay. The name of the daughter is Seemay. So this girl started selling silk thread in the village market. One day, as usual, She went to the market. What for? To sell her silk thread. Because it's their way of living, making their living. As usually, she went to the village market. On the day, she sold all the silk thread, finished her business. She started running, she started coming back to her home. But on the way, some strange, unexpected happened. What's it? It started raining. It started raining. Soon it becomes a heavy rain. The girl was running to take some shelter, not to drench herself in rainwater or in rain. While she was hurriedly getting back, searching for shelter, not to get wet, then she saw a hut. The first hut she saw, she entered it. Just what for? To take shelter there only. But she was shocked to see, after entering the hut. But what should be done before we enter the others' huts, others' rooms? We have to take permission, or we have to knock at the door. This girl also have all these values. This girl also knows very well. She is a well-behaved girl. Good girl. So, as a courtesy, she stood before the gate of the hut, before the door of the hut. She asked, "Is anybody there?" She asked. What does she ask? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? She asks. But there was no response. She did not get any answer from the hut. See here, I have written one dialogue. What's it? Is anybody there? My dear students, you observe it. This part of the sentence is in quotations. This part of the sentence is in quotations. This indicates direct speech. That means a particular person addresses another person in some words. Those exact words are called direct speech. This is called direct speech. Who said these words? Is anybody there? Who said these words? This Sumay said. So, before the quotations, you take who had said these words. Who said? See me. So we say, see me said, comma. See me said, comma. Is anybody there? This is the direct speech. In the examination, You are asked to change this sentence into indirect speech. Then how would you change? See here, who said? This girl said. So the saying of these words are in the form of assertive or interrogative. You check. See, is anybody there? This is a question. We can see question mark also here. Question mark indicates interrogative. So, while it is interrogating, that means asking. Interrogation means asking. That's why we change this said into asked. I already told the name of girl is Sime. Sime asked. Here said is there. While changing it into indirect, we make it asked. Sime asked. How often words we go on? We take a connecting word here. We take a connecting word. Since it is in interrogation, we take if or whether. If or whether. You can take any one of it. Whether anybody was. Whether anybody was there. This is comes to was. This is comes to was. Because here the verb is in past tense, so that we change the given verb into past tense. That's why it has come to whether anybody was there. You may have a doubt here. Okay, sir, we understand somewhat clearly. Because the verb is, reporting verb is in past tense, this verb also comes to past tense. It's okay, sir. But here question mark is there. In the answer, question mark is not there. Where? Why? Good question. Indirect speech never be in the question sense. Indirect speech never be in the question sense. So we have to remove the question mark. To remove the question mark, we have to change the places of subject and verb. So here, the subject is anybody, verb is. I have changed, shift the places of subject and verb. So it loses its question sense. That's why I should not give any question sense or question mark in the answer. So what is the answer? She may asked whether anybody was there, or she may ask if anybody was there. That is the answer. So, okay, you understand, I hope, how a sentence should be turned into from direct to indirect. Okay, when coming to the point, when we enter the lesson, where we cut this girl, while she was getting back to her home, it started raining. So she wants to take shelter, not to get wet. On seeing the first hut, she wants to enter the hut to take shelter from rain, not to get wet. So she stopped at the door and asked, as a courtesy, as a formality. It's the good principle to ask. So she asked, is anybody there? Is anybody there? She asked. But she could not get any reply. No answer. Out of curiosity, she peeped into the hut. She looked into the hut. But she found nobody there. The hut was empty. So she entered the hut. On seeing the hut, she was shocked. because everything in the hut was in disorder. The bowls were unwashed. The floor is dirty. Things are in disorder. It looks like a mess. So Simei wanted to make the hut clean, to make all the things in an order. Immediately, she started cleaning the floor. Dear children, observe, keenly observe what I am saying. The intention of the girl, the characteristics of the girl. Actually, we feel it's not our hut. Just we enter the hut for some time to protect ourselves, not to get wet. After the stopping of rain, we simply leave the hut. It's not our hut. Then why should we clean? We haven't at least the thought of cleaning the hut on the grounds of it's not ours. But Simei did not think like that. She is a very good-natured girl. She never thought that it's not hers. Then why should she take care of the hut? However it is, whatever it is, even the floor is dirty. Even what means for her? The bowls are unwashed. All the things are in disorder. She never thought like that. That is the great quality. Children, this type of responsibility, this type of great qualities make us grow and grow and grow. Make us different from others. Make us something special among all. She started cleaning the dirty floor. She started washing the unwashed bowls. And she kept all the things at their right places. After completion of her work, the hut was as a mirror. The hut looks very beautiful. By the time she completes her work, the rain stopped. So, it's time she left the hut. It's time she left the hut. She was about to start. She was getting ready to leave the hut. Since there was no rain, the rain was stopped. Just as she got out of the hut, immediately she happened to see an old man. An old man. How old he is, you know? He looks like 100 years. 100 years old. He has a long white beard. Just down touches his chest. Long white beard. Down touches his head. Chest. Touches his chest. On seeing the old man, the girl stopped and told like this, "My dear old man, is it your hurt? I think it's your hurt. Without your permission, I entered the hut just to protect me, myself, not to get wet. The old man was pleased with the words of the little girl. He made a look into the hut and shocked, surprised to see that his hut was very clean and all the things were in order. The bowls were unwashed bowls, were washed. Then he asked, my little daughter, my little girl, have you cleaned all this for me? The young girl nodded her head. Just it's my responsibility. She smiled. Her words and her actions, the old man was very much pleased. He was quite satisfied. He felt very happy. The old man said, the little girl, for your good deeds, I would like to give you some present. Present means some gift. By saying like that, taking a scissor, he cut his white beard. It's here. He cut his white beard certain extent, taking a old cloth, keeping it and tied it. Afterwards, presented it to the girl. See what he has given? Only some hair, some beard, that too a small pot. Do you accept? If you are in the place of the little girl, you may. But the girl is very respectable. She bowed the old man and take the bundle. The old man said, girl, don't open it till you reach the home. Don't give it to anyone. She obeyed the old man. She went to her home. The mother was worrying about her daughter since it was raining, where she was caught. But after seeing the daughter, she felt very happy. Later, the little girl untied the bundle and showed her the piece of hair, that means the piece of beard of the old man, how she did get present as present. She narrated the entire story to the mother. Later, they kept it aside. But when they opened, they were shocked to see it was not beard. It was the fine silk. So they take some silk and drawn some thread just to sell in the village market. But surprisingly, after cutting some extent, the beard again gets its former size. That means whatever you cut, the beard will never be exhausted. It is again and again getting its former size. So the old woman and her daughter felt surprised, shocked and feel very happy. That is the finest silk that they have ever seen. The very next morning, they went to village market. The girl went to village market as usual selling the silk. Since it is the finest silk, she gets more demand. And most of the people started buying that silk only from this girl. This news spread far and wide. This news spread far and wide. This is a good expression, far and wide. What is meant by far and wide? Four corners to the vast distance of areas. When the news spread far and wide, the number of customers started growing and the quantity of silk has been sold so much. In result, they have become very rich and they lead their life happily. So, what do you understand from this lesson? If you do something expecting nothing in return, that will award you, that brings you fortune. So we should not be selfish. We should always be responsible. We have the social responsibility, and we are always ready to help others. We have to develop helping nature. We have to respect the others. If these characters not aware of you will be useful and will bring you some reward in future, and it makes your life happy. This is the content of the lesson and moral of the lesson.